Good morning. I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 40 years. This year, as I've done for several years, I'm going through the lessons. I'm asking Jesus to clarify for me, and then I'm writing from that clarity. And that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. We're looking at lesson 232. Be in my mind, my Father, through the day. Be in my mind, my Father, when I wake, and shine on me throughout the day today. Let every minute be a time in which I dwell with you, and let me not forget my hourly thanksgiving that you have remained with me and always will be there to hear my call to you and answer me. As evening comes, let all my thoughts be still of you and of your love, and let me sleep sure of my safety, certain of your care, and happily aware I am your son. This is as every day should be. Today, practice the end of fear. Have faith in him who is your Father. Trust all things to him. Let him reveal all things to you, and be you undismayed, because you are his son. I woke up this morning thinking of the day I would have, as instructed by Jesus in chapter 30, Rules for Decision. I thought about looking forward to my morning routine of checking my email and Facebook notifications while I drank my coffee. I thought about the joy of writing in my journal about the day's lesson, and then using some free time today to work on my website again. I look forward to my calls today and my Zoom meetings to share a course with the fellow students. I thought about how much I love my days as they center around the joy of practicing A Course in Miracles and sharing with others this practice and receiving their shares. This is the day I will be given if I make no decisions on my own. Then I read today's lesson and I thought, what a perfect plan for the day. Yes, I will do those things that are on my calendar to do. I will enjoy every minute of it, but that is just the script playing out. What I'm really doing is reveling in the joy and love that fills my heart this morning. What I'm really doing, even as I write and speak and listen, is being in thanksgiving that God is with me all through the day. I will trust him and let him reveal all things to me. I will be undismayed because I am his. I will practice the end of fear. This is a story from a few years ago. Every day now seems better than the day before. I can't really say why. It just does. I was with Eleanor and Susan yesterday afternoon after my calls for the day. Eleanor is my granddaughter. Susan is my daughter. Again, I had the most delightful time playing with her, and I was there completely in the moment. Susan had to take her to the doctor to see about a persistent cough. I told her I'd go with them to keep them company. In the moment again at the doctor's office. No thoughts of what I had waiting for me to do at home, or impatience with the waiting, with the doctor just at the moment there. He told me I must have done something right raising Susan because she's such a good mom. I said with enthusiasm that yes, she is a great mom, a much better mom than I ever was. And Susan said, no, that's not true, that I was a good mom too. There was a time when that exchange would have felt different to me. I would have eaten up their words because I was so desperately wanted them to be true, or at least for it to appear true to others. Yesterday, though, I was just delighted that Susan is such a good mom. There was no me with all its baggage getting in the way of that delight. I can't say with honesty that God is in the mind with which I think all the time now, but it is becoming true more and more. God is a state of being joyful and present and free of the past. I look forward to seeing what it feels like when there is no self at all to get in the way. Today, I will be grateful to know God is my mind and to know it is being further purified of any fear or doubt that remains there. I was drawn to the sentence that says today we should practice the end of fear. I started practicing that yesterday. Well, everything in the course points to this, but I started thinking about it in a different way yesterday. Last night, just before I went to sleep, I had the thought that I have nothing to fear because of what I am. I asked a question, what am I? The answer is that I am a divine being. And of course, that answer is a reason I have nothing to fear. The ego reminds me of all the things I have to fear, but it's actually telling me of all the things the ego has to fear. I am not the ego, so it has nothing to do with me. I only fear when I think I am the ego. This is why Jesus keeps telling us we're not a body. All we are doing here is learning to transfer our identity from the illusory body self to our reality, to our divine self. I am not a body, I am spirit, a thought in the mind of God. The ego is afraid of everything because it believes it is frail and is this fragile body with an easily damaged psyche. I, on the other hand, am perfectly safe and perfectly protected and cannot be hurt. I am love itself, and there is nothing beside love. Can I be overcome by too little time, which does not actually exist anyway? Can I be hurt when the body is hurt? I am not the body. Can death destroy me when I am immortal? Can a body appetite control me when the body I imagine does not actually exist outside my imagination? If I imagine the body, I must also imagine the cravings it experiences, the sicknesses it suffers, and the desires it succumbs to. Shall I no longer choose to experience these things? I need only stop imagining them. If this seems hard to do, then I'm obviously using the idea of hard to keep the story in place. I am never a victim because I am the maker of it all. I am reminded once again of my favorite sentence in the course. You but do this to yourself. The following is a short but very helpful message I received a few years ago. Holy Spirit, thank you for your faith and your trust. It is not misplaced. You will find that you need not ferret out grievances. Your desire to heal will bring them up in your mind and show them to you. All you need to do is pay attention. Notice your feelings, which will alert you to false thoughts in your mind, grievances to be healed. Close your eyes to the story which wants to distract you from your purpose. Instead, look for the grievances, the judgments, fears, guilty thoughts, and other obstacles to love, knowing you want only to let them go. God is in your mind today and every day. Give your willingness to release all that hides his presence from your awareness. And I am over the moon grateful for the legions of helpers who have guided and uplifted me and brought me to this point in my life. And now I want to share some tips from Regina. And these are very important. I highly suggest following today's tips. Be in my mind, my Father, through the day. Throughout this section of A Course in Miracles for Students, we are using this process. Number 1, each day read and contemplate the special theme that we are currently working with. Currently, that theme is what is salvation. Number 2, contemplate the day's workbook lesson. Number 3, spend time in meditation. Number 4, Recall the day's workbook lesson hourly. Number 5, spend at least a brief time with the workbook lesson and/or meditation before going to bed at night. Maybe you remember to follow all 5 steps in this current process. Maybe you've forgotten part of it, or maybe you decided to skip part of the process because you thought it wasn't important for you. Today is an opportunity to recommit to the entire process that is requested in this section of the workbook. I look at it this way. We have been vigilant for the ego. However, we join this group because there is a calling in us. The calling is to be vigilant for salvation. It's what we want. That's why we're here. So let's do it. And she added this from the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the New Testament. N.T.I. Luke chapter 5 says, old habits must be let go, for old habits will not usher in a new day. With old habits, all things remain the same, but with new habits, all things are possible. I've come to teach you new habits. You will learn these habits by practicing them as I ask. Remember me and practice. You'll catch yourself practicing the old habits, for this has been your way until now. Slipping into old habits does not ruin the new ones. So when you find yourself doing this, forgive yourself your attraction to the old by stepping away from the old and stepping into the new. Each time you do this, you will help yourself unlearn the old and to learn the new. So today, let's remember our desire for salvation and recommit to practicing the workbook lessons in the way the workbook asks us to. And so my thoughts. I love this simple and gentle process from NTI. I notice that we're asked to notice when we slip back into the old ways. But I also notice that we're encouraged not to be upset by that slip, just to return to the new. Releasing the idea of guilt is so important to this practice. When we notice an error, we make a giant step forward. But if we feel guilty for the error, our step forward is very small. The ego loves us, but we are not here to please the ego. We're here to undo the ego. So thank you so much for joining me in today's lesson. And if you found it helpful, then please like it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with another lesson.